Hello, Mary Meet. So first, let me explain why I'm dressed this way. I got married today. So yeah, I mean it's not a huge deal. We have been living together for well over 10 years now and been together for 16. So we have decided let's get married. But yeah, that's why I'm dressed like this. Um, but yeah, I wanted to make a video about a topic I'm asked about all the time, and that is what is the difference between witchcraft and ceremonial magic, or high magic as some like to call it. And sometimes these things are difficult to categorize because there's definitely some overlap because there's a lot of modern witchcraft which is based on ceremonial magic. Gareth Gardner was a ceremonial magician before he started practicing witchcraft. Uh, uh, Alexander's definitely have a lot of ceremonial magic within the system of witchcraft. So I can only tell you my personal opinion on it. Generally, my opinion is that witchcraft is nature based. It is not necessarily religious, it's just nature based, but it's basically based upon using the various forces of nature for the magical practice. While ceremonial magic um, while you can also say it is to a certain degree nature based, it is more based on what should I say? Using the occult nature of reality or the hidden symbolism within reality. Now, the main difference, however, between witchcraft and ceremonial magic is the focus and goal of it. Generally speaking, witchcraft is very practical. It is about causing an effect in the world around us or in ourselves, which is beneficial to our lives. That can be anything from a fertility rite to a rite to increase fortune or a protection ritual. While ceremonial magic, while it also deals with these things, is more concerned with the spiritual development of the magician. That you can say is the main difference. A lot of people get upset with the term high magic and low magic, but really it isn't as pompous as it sounds. High magic generally means magic that is based on high ritual. It's more ritualized, while low magic is more practical magic. And while we don't know exactly why those terms have come into use, generally speaking, it is believed that low magic was practiced mainly um, by peasants and so on. It's all sort of folk magic to produce uh, results that would better their lives, while high magic was more produced as a scholarly pursuit. As such, only the rich could afford the books, the materials, and time to do that. And since the rich had a tendency to live on higher ground than the poor, then you had high magic and low magic. But generally, because of the controversy of those terms, I generally use witchcraft or practical magic with ceremonial magic. Now, does ceremonial magic also deal with practical things? Yeah, there are practical things you can use ceremonial magic too, but generally speaking, it is work intended to increase the spiritual powers or spiritual presence, perhaps you would say, of the magician to develop the magician spiritually. And while that has the by effect of giving the magician spiritual abilities, the main goal is to become closer to God, to become more, have a more divine nature. While witchcraft generally's goal is to better your life and the life of those around you, of nature, and so on and so forth. So can it two be combined? Yeah, absolutely. For example, like I mentioned, Alexander's, he was a student of Garrett Gardner, and his direction, Alexandrian Wiccan, it is one of the two Wiccan directions or paths which are considered traditional Wiccans, are very, very much based on ritual magic. And there's a lot of the things that Gardner himself did, which are based on ritual magic. You can definitely be a witch that has a lot of ceremonial magic within your practice. So it can definitely be combined and to great effect. And also a lot of people use ceremonial magic for their spiritual development and then witchcraft for the practical things. So, I mean, I do both. I do both witchcraft and ceremonial magic. But I'm not gonna do a long 3-hour ritual if I have a headache. Or if I have a headache, I'm gonna light a blue candle, say a little prayer, and direct a little bit of energy toward healing my headache, and I'm going to. That's gonna be it. Or put amethyst charged with rock crystal under my pillow, something like that. Something nice and practical. But if I'm going to try to speak with my inner higher being, I might do a scrying involving ritual magic. So yeah, it's definitely like you have to be a ritual magician or a witch. You can definitely be both, and many are. So, what are the real differences? I mean, it's sliding. It's sliding. Definitions there. Would you call, for example, a Wiccan? I'd say Wiccan a lot, but that's definitely not the only forms of witchcraft. There's lots of different forms of witchcraft. But let me continue. If you do a Wiccan ritual aimed just at developing spiritually, is that then ceremonial magic? Yeah, not necessarily. For me, ceremonial magic uses the ceremony, and the ritual becomes a more important focus because it deals with the hidden truths of nature instead of dealing with nature itself and the energies in nature. If you can understand the difference, it's not really difficult. It's very difficult to explain. But yeah, generally speaking, the difference lie a little bit in method, but it's not that easy to say this is this, this is that. That is because, magic's magic. I I can't really say it any better than that. Magic is magic. And it's the way I see it, there's a ton of different methods and ways and things you can do with magic. And there's just different ways to do it and different focus to do it. But magic in and of itself is pretty much the same. And as such, is there a clear cut definition? No. But would I call, for example, Aleister Crowley's Telema system for witchcraft? No. For me, that would be more ritual magic, while, for example, Wicca or Strega is more witchcraft. And like I said, for me, it's two definitions. One is that ceremonial magic bases itself on the idea of developing spiritually, of becoming more divine, of becoming a more developed spiritual being. And uh, development of supernatural abilities, if you would say that, and supernaturally improving your situation is a byproduct of that. While for witchcraft, the focus and goal is the betterment of the world around them. And here talking about witchcraft, not the practice of religious rites within Wicca, which of course becomes something else, though it's joined together. But witchcraft in itself, low magic, becomes more about healing yourself, healing others, healing the becoming fertile, attracting wealth, all of those practical things that improve yours and others' lives. And then spiritual development becomes a byproduct of that. So on that point, the two are polar opposites. But it's very much sliding scales. You can say there are systems that are definitely pure speaking witchcraft and some that is completely ceremonial magic. But then again, those two aren't the only ways to do magic. There's just two different methods. So yeah, where one begins and where another ends. I mean, within a lot of modern witchcraft, do a lot of methods that comes from ceremonial magic, and ceremonial magic also have taken inspiration from witchcraft. So for me, exactly where one ends and the other begins is very difficult to say. But yeah, to me the difference lies in focus. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that topic. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day and blessed be.